what I'd like to do is step right back and answer some of the questions that people ask, and they're completely valid questions, the bigger picture of treatment of trigger points. And the first, which is very, very common, is how often do you need to treat trigger points? And so how often do you need to treat them, or how often should you treat them? And the answer to that is, it depends, which is a great politician's answer, but in fact it's quite correct. So there are a number of ways that, there are ways that people, when they present with trigger points, they can present in a vast array of ways. Sometimes you have a trigger point which is set off by doing an overstretch, or you may have twisted something and then this goes into spasm, and it's just one localized area, and you can get in. You don't have a lot of other pain issues at all, and you get in and you can actually really get in and treat that trigger point quite aggressively. And so you could treat that maybe 2 or 3 times a day, and you treat it for a few days. And at the end of that, what happens is that the trigger point just melts away and it's gone. And that's fine. So that's intensive treatment 2 or 3 times a day, really getting in and turning it off and stretching it out, and it's gone. So that's one end of an extreme. The other end of the extreme is somebody who has trigger points everywhere. And wherever they press their body, it hurts. And they've got a whole area and it's driving them crazy, and they have the thought of, oh my God, I've just got these millions of trigger points. Now, what's really important for this kind of person is that they need to recognize that their trigger points are actually part of a bigger pain problem, and they have what's called pain sensitization. So somebody like this, who's tender all over the place, and wherever you touch, oh my sore, and you find all these lots and lots of trigger points. The way you approach your trigger points is completely different. Here you have to be gentle and sensitive to what's going on. If you dived in like that first person, and you really got in and you treated 3 times a day, because everything is sensitized, you would actually be much, much worse. You'd feel like you've been literally beaten up. So for somebody like that, what you do is you choose the worst area, you feel around carefully and gently, and you find the worst, the most active, tender areas, the trigger points, the most active trigger points, and you gently treat 2, 3, or 4 of that in an area. That's what you choose, and you're fairly minimalistic. So you do a very small job, and you just gently turn it off, and you put on heat, and you do your stretch, and then you wait. So the next day you see what you feel like. Oh, have I flared it up? Yeah, I've flared it up a bit. Oh no, I haven't. Okay. If I haven't, then you just, at the end of the day, you have a feel again, and you think, oh yeah, I've got this one's pretty tender. And then so you, because you have all the information, you have everything inside you, you can choose and decide on how many you can treat and how often you treat it. If it's very sensitized, maybe once every 3 or 4 days, and only a few triggers at a time is in fact the way to go.